What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. A couple weeks ago in one of our earlier videos, I alluded to the fact that at the end of 2023, I landed a very good remote job that I'd been looking for quite a while. In this video, I'm going to go into a little more detail about what that job is and see if it might be a good fit for somebody else out there. So stay tuned. So the company that I'm talking about that I went to work for is called Assurant. And the department that I work in is the auto claims department. So they also do extended warranties on RVs. So they administer extended warranties for companies like Good Sam, their extended warranties. So just a wide range of warranties are administered by Assurant. So the department that I work in is the automotive claims department. I adjust automotive extended warranty claims. So basically, the shop calls in, I take all the information on the vehicle, look up the contract, we put in the information that the shop gives us about what the failure is, we verify the parts and labor times, and then we either make the decision to either approve or deny that claim. I would say 99% of the time we're approving the claim, but there are some due diligence steps that need to be done to ensure that the shop is making the right repair on the car. It's not up to us to fix the car for the repair facility, but it is up to us to make sure that what the shop is saying is the issue and the correct repair does kind of line up with the parts and the labor that they're requesting. And that's pretty much what I do. So I take incoming phone calls and do that. The main thing I like about this job is it gives me a chance to utilize some of my automotive knowledge that I learned from a long time ago when I was an automotive tech. I did that for 10 years before I moved on to a different field. A lot of that knowledge just crosses over directly with what I'm doing now. I'm just on the opposite side of it. Instead of repairing the vehicle, I'm on the other side of the phone now, taking the claim. There are a ton of former techs, service writers that work for Assurant. In my training class, there were a couple techs and there were some service writers. So I know if you're thinking about traveling full-time in your RV, it's very hard to find something remote. And if you're an automotive tech especially, or maybe even a service writer, you may not be sure how the skills that you currently have would really relate to any remote positions that might be out there. And I'm here to tell you that this job is fantastic for people that are in the automotive industry, in the automotive field. So the interview process was really a lot more thorough than I thought it was going to be. I had one phone interview. After I filled out my application, they called and set up a phone interview. After that interview, which basically they asked me a lot of automotive, kind of basic automotive knowledge questions, just kind of to gauge like my level of knowledge with auto repair and automotive terminology. Once I made it through that interview, I got set up with a video interview with the hiring supervisor. That interview was even more thorough than the previous one. A lot more technical questions than I thought there was going to be. I'd been out of the industry for about 14 years while I was working in the battery industry down in South Florida. So a lot of that knowledge was kind of buried in the back of my mind. So I had to kind of dredge that up. But I explained that to them right up front. It was no issue. I was able to answer their questions. It just took me a couple of minutes to kind of process all that. And some of the new terminology being used. I mean, when you're out of the industry for a while, the automotive industry moves along very quickly. So it did take me a little bit of time to kind of get up to speed on some of the new terminology, but I think having having a good baseline starting point from being a tech in the past really helped speed that learning curve up for me. So the only thing they required to have this remote position was they do require you to have high-speed internet. The speeds that they require, 25 Mbps down and 15 on the upload side. So that's not incredibly fast speeds. That's pretty easily manageable. The Verizon 5G home Wi-Fi, most times my speeds are way above that. But again, don't want to get too into the weeds on the internet side of it. Just know if you can meet the requirement for those internet speeds, they do require you to be able to plug in to your router with a hard line, with an Ethernet cord, just to have a secure connection there. And again, I didn't really know what to expect. I've never had a fully remote job like this. You know, it does seem like a lot of jobs that are fully remote don't pay well. They're not the greatest company. One thing about Assurant that they really drove home right from day one is the fact that Assurant prefers to work remotely. They were kind of forced to do it during COVID, and what they found was they could be far more productive with their employees all working remotely. It allowed them to bring in talent from all around the country instead of being limited to just one location where people had to come into an office. So they're very forward thinking when it comes to remote opportunities for people, and they definitely compensate the remote employees well. They have a full line of benefits, health benefits, paid time off. The paid time off is very generous. I've already been able to utilize some of that paid time off to do some things. You know, if you're traveling in an RV, having some time where you can take some paid time off, whether you need an extra travel day, whether, you know, in our situation, it was with Dylan going to some Pokemon events that we had to travel for. So it's been a real huge benefit being able to have that paid time off and utilize it so early on in my employment. So Assurant supplies everything that you're going to need. They supply the laptop, the monitors, all the equipment. They will send it to you. They do send it to your home address that you have listed on your application. So in our situation, we were in Florida, so we had to be there to receive the equipment. And really, as long as you can meet the internet speed requirements, then they're not really concerned with where you're working from. As long as you show up on time, you're there when you're supposed to be working, and you meet the required internet speeds. The training process took 6 weeks. I had 3 weeks of initial training, just kind of going through the different contracts that I would be working with. So that was a 3-week process, and then we had a 3-week transition where we took live phone calls, and then had supervisors right there on Microsoft Teams in a big group chat so that they could kind of walk you through if you had questions. So it was really just a very, very easy process. So the other thing Assurant is big on is what they call the Assurant way, and that is basically the vision of the company, their purpose, their commitments, their values. So if any of this sounds good to you, sounds like it might be a good fit, or you're just interested in learning more, seeing what opportunities they have, you can go to jobs.assurant.com and see all their listings. If you don't see something there right now, I would definitely recommend keeping them in mind and checking back often. So that's it. I mean, that's what I do now. I work a full 40-hour week. Don't have to worry about commuting somewhere into the office. Don't have to worry about the drive home. There's never any traffic on my drive to and from work now. So appreciate you guys watching. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and we'll catch you guys down the road.